Today's episode, we're gonna talk about a $7,500 tax credit that you could be missing out on in 2024. What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Tax-Free Living, where I teach entrepreneurs just like you how to live tax-free. So make sure you watch this episode in its entirety if you want to put $7,500 back in your pocket. Before we talk about the EV tax credit, let's understand the difference between a tax deduction versus a tax credit, okay? So a tax deduction, the way it works is that if you have $100,000 of taxable income and you have $20,000 of tax deductions, that means you now have $80,000 of taxable income, right? So a tax deduction just lowers your taxable income. So if you think about it, if you want to know the true value of your tax deduction, you need to multiply the tax deduction by your tax rate. So if your tax rate is 20%, you would take that $20,000 deduction times 20%. That gives you $4,000. So that $20,000 tax deduction will actually only save you $4,000 in taxes, which is good. Okay, but tax credits work differently. Okay, tax credits work differently. The way tax credits work is it is a dollar for dollar reduction to your tax bill. So if you had a $20,000 tax credit, it will reduce your tax bill by $20,000. So that means that tax credits are better than tax deductions. So that's why this video is so important, so that you can understand how this $7,500 tax credit could literally put $7,500 back in your pocket. Okay, so now with that understanding being said, let's talk about the EV tax credit and what you need to know. So the IRS has made several very important changes to the EV tax credit that you must know if you want to take advantage of it in 2024. Change number one is they've now implemented price caps on the vehicles that are eligible for the EV tax credit. If it is a SUV, it needs to be less than $80,000 MSRP for you to qualify for the EV tax credit. Now, if it's a sedan, it has to be $55,000 or less MSRP for you to take advantage of the tax credit. So this is automatically going to eliminate a lot of vehicles out there, because let's be honest, EV vehicles are not cheap. So you need to make sure that if you want this tax credit, make sure it's below the cap. The second thing that they changed, they now implemented income thresholds for you to be able to take advantage of the EV tax credit, right? So as far as the income thresholds, if you're single, you need to have a modified adjusted gross income of less than $150,000. And if you're married, you need to have a modified adjusted gross income of less than $300,000. So you see these caps plus income restrictions, these are going to be major when trying to qualify for the EV tax credit. Because think about it. Think about this for a second. You have to be, if you're single, you have to be earning less than $150,000, and the vehicle has to be less than $55,000. So it's putting two caps on your eligibility for the EV tax credit. So you need to know these things going into your EV purchase, so you can make sure that you're able to take advantage of the tax credit. Now, here's what most people don't understand. Modified adjusted gross income is after you implement tax strategies, right? So you can still lower your income via tax strategies to lower your modified adjusted gross income. Okay, I want to make sure you all do that. The third thing, let me tell you how it worked before. If you bought an EV vehicle in 2023 and you qualify for the tax credit, you would have to wait until you filed your taxes in March of 2024 for you to actually receive your tax credit. That means you would have to essentially wait 13 months to get this money back. But effective in 2024, EV buyers can now take advantage of the EV tax credit at the point of sale. Meaning when you're at the dealership and you qualify for the EV tax credit, they will literally give you a $7,500 reduction on the sticker price of the vehicle. So now instead of having to wait 13 months to get your credit, you're going to be able to get your credit immediately at the point of sale at the dealership. Okay, this is major. This is major. Now, I will say this. All dealerships have not agreed to do this. Okay? All dealerships have not agreed to do this. They have to go to the IRS's website and register to be able to give you the tax credit at the point of sale. Because think about it. They then need to be refunded by the IRS to get the money. And some dealerships don't want to wait the 13 months. So every dealership is not going to engage in this activity. So you need to make sure that when you're vetting dealerships, one of the questions that you ask is say, hey, are you registered to give me my EV tax credit at the point of sale? Yes, I'm on my way. No, I'm going somewhere else, right? Because you don't want to wait 14 months. Think about it. If you get the tax credit today and you invest that money for 14 months, it could easily be over $10,000, right? So you want to make sure that you're going to a dealership that has registered for this service. Okay. Now, the last change, but certainly not the least. Okay. The IRS has substantially cut back the vehicles that qualify for the EV tax credit. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't make the rules. I just teach them. The IRS has substantially cut back on the vehicles that qualify for the EV tax credit. Why? Because most manufacturers today of really good EV engines are overseas. Like America is behind on the EV production car market. So a lot of the engines, a lot of the parts we have to source from overseas. And as you all know, the government does not like to reward companies for sourcing work or parts from overseas. So due to that, they dramatically cut back on the list. So I'm going to give you all some of the major vehicles that are still on the list that you can take advantage of. Okay, so the Chevrolet Bolt EUV still qualifies. The Chevrolet Bolt EV still qualifies. The Chrysler Pacific Pew still qualifies. The Ford F-150 Lightning still qualifies. The Ford F-150 Lightning Extended Range Battery qualifies. Tesla Model 3 Performance, Tesla Model 3 Long Range, Tesla Model Y All-Wheel Drive, Tesla Model Y Performance, and Tesla Model Y Rear-Wheel Drive. These are probably the most premier cars that still qualify for the EV tax credit. But remember, if it's an SUV, the MSRP needs to be less than $80,000. If it's a sedan, the MSRP needs to be less than $55,000. If you do these things, you will be able to qualify for the $7,500 EV tax credit in 2024. All right. So guys, if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and share it with a friend so y'all can look fly as y'all drive y'all EV tax vehicles and with the $7,500 check in your pocket. All right, guys, I'll see y'all next time on the next episode. Peace.